What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is me, Jello, the casual card gamer, and today we're going to be looking at a deck that I've been wanting to build for a while, but I couldn't until the main card was released. It'll be Dragonic Overlord, the turnabout. For today, we're going to be doing a V Premium deck, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so this deck, of course, we start off with Lizard Soldier Conroe. Gotta go with our boy Conroe here to start off. If you ride on top of him, you draw a card. If you go second, then you get a quick shield. Something that I am not very used to saying ever since the beginning of overdress. But anyway, let's get straight into the rest of the deck. So of course we run 4 copies of our poster dragon, Dragonic Overlord, the turnabout. So the ability is, and I just have to say the art on this thing is so cool, straight out of the manga that it's from. But once per turn at the end of the battle that it attacked, counterblast 1, discard 2 cards from your hand, stand all of your front row units with Overlord in their names, and until end of turn this unit gets drive -1. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your front row units with Overlord in their card names get plus 10k. Now this is the reason why I wanted to build this deck so much. Not because Dragonic Overlord, the ends are $25 each, and not because Dragonic Overlord, the cross, is about $15 each, because I already have the deck. I actually dismantled it to make this one, but because Turnabout's ability is just so fun. Being able to potentially restand your entire front row of Overlords and then giving them plus 10k on top of the imaginary gift markers that you already have on them is really, really fun. And just a slight change, just a fun change really, from the whole the X and the end combo, which everyone has already seen and everybody already knows the price range for. But yeah, just to put into perspective, you can get, I think, 3 or almost 4 copies of, or about probably even a playset of turnabouts for the price of one the end. So it's really fun. It's a fun budget way to play Dragonic Overlord. Anyway, moving on, our supporting grade 3 is 4 copies of Dauntless Drive Dragon. So Dauntless is also really fun and really affordable at this point, only around maybe $5-6. Last time I checked, which was about, I think 2 days ago. But Dauntless's ability is at the end of the battle that your drive check revealed 2 or more normal units. So if you dry check your trigger checks, then you can give plus 10k to one of your front row rear guards, and that's fun too. And also, at the end of the battle that it attacked, if your hand has 4 or more cards, discard 3 cards from your hand and restand the unit. Now this is fun to use with Turnabout because you get 3 Vanguard attacks as long as you have 4 cards at after attacking the first time or the second time. And of course, the third ability is why Dauntless is in here as well, because when it's rode upon, the Vanguard that you ride on top of it gets the abilities of Dauntless. So if you start with Dauntless, then you ride Turnabout over it, then you're almost guaranteed 3 Vanguard attacks. And if you have the next card that I'm about to show you, then you get about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attacks on that turn. So next we run 4 copies of the original Dragonic Overlord. So Overlord's ability, the only reason that it's in here is because its first ability is activatable on the rearguard circle. So you Soul Blast 1 once per turn to give it plus 10. So basically, if you start with Dauntless, then you put a Force 1 marker here, and then you ride Turnabout. The next turn, you get another Force marker, drop 2 Dragonic Overlords, and then Soul Blast 1 for each, and that's 4 33k attacks going to your opponent's face at the minimum, without even your Vanguard attacking. So yeah, that's the whole strategy of this deck. Make sure that you get the Overlords, and so far in playtesting against my good friend Woodland Docs, shout outs to him, it is pretty consistent in terms of getting these pieces out. Anyway, those are the grade 3s. if you ever do have the bad luck of riding the regular Dragonic Overlord, at least it can restand 3 times as well, as long as it hits at some point. But yeah, that is those are our grade 3s of the deck, and as you can see, it is very budget because this is the Dragonic Overlord, the budget deck. So moving on, we have 4 copies to our grade 2s. 4 copies of Break Breath Dragon. So at the end of the battle that attacked as a rearguard, if your opponent's rearguard was retired at any point in the turn, you can retire it to draw a card. Then its Vanguard ability is when it's rode upon, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, retire it, and if you don't retire anything, you draw a card instead. So it's a win-win. If you don't get to blow up something on your opponent's field, you at least get to draw something from just riding. So that's good. And next we run 2 copies of Dragonic Burnout just for the retiring, and also because Torrid Cannon requires that you have 4 less cards in your hand when activating it to draw the card. But since there's so much card draw in this deck, then it doesn't really matter. So that's it. And then the last grade 2, this one's kind of interchangeable. I just don't have copies of it right now, but this seems to be working for me as well. So we have 2 copies of Dynamelt Dragon. It's a grade 2 vanilla 12k. If you wanted, and what I recommend is that you play 2 copies of Prowling Dragon Stricken. It can't attack, but when you ride a grade 3 Vanguard on top of it, that Vanguard gets plus 5k and a crit until end of turn. So that, coupled with Dauntless, is really nice because you're swinging at a minimum 18k with crit twice on your grade 3 turn, and that's annoying. So yeah, whatever you like to do. Dynamelt is a little more defensive, requires your opponent to either be at grade 3 already, so if you go second, it's still pretty good, or because you can guard things easier, or it's for your opponent to place boosters. So it's a win-win for you, because if they put boosters down, then you can just retire them. And that is it for the grade 2s. We only play 8 grade 2s in this deck. I did have to G-assist once in my playtesting against Woodland Docks, but the deck still came through for me, so I'm just keeping it at that. So next, moving on to the grade 1s, we have Dragon Knight He Shot. So first ability, when placed as a rearguard, counterblast 1, still blast 1, choose one of your draw a card, choose one of your opponent's back row rearguards and retire it. So this is just a good way for you to be able to remove things from your opponent's field if they have pesky boosters or anything that's in their back row, basically. And then second ability, when rode upon, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a grade 3, reveal it, and then add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. It's really good because we do run 12 grade 3s in the deck, so we want to be able to make sure that we get Dauntless first, and then a Turnabout, and then at least 1 or 2 of the regular Overlords, so that we can really maximize the Turnabout's restanding ability, because being able to restand your entire front row is really fun. And next we play 4 copies of Flame of Hope Airmo. So during the battle that it boosted, it gets plus 3k, and when your opponent's rearguard is retired during your turn, you can retire it to draw and countercharge 1. So there isn't very much counter blasting in the deck, but it is still good to have the extra counter blast open just in case. And of course the card draw is nice too, because you get to you get to dig deeper into your deck earlier in the game, so you can get the 4 cards that you really need to make the deck work. Next, we play 3 copies of Purple Gem Carbuncle. So Carbuncle's ability is once per turn when your Vanguard restands, it gets plus 15k. So basically it's a 20k booster on a Dauntless Break Ride Turnabout turn with 2 front row Dragonic Overlords. This is really helpful because you just swing with your front row Overlords first, attack with Turnabout, restand Turnabout with the Dauntless ability, then swing with Turnabout again, activate Turnabout's ability to restand your front row. And when that happens, when you have a Carbuncle in the back and then a regular Overlord in front of it, that's a minimum 53k lane. And it's fun. Fun for you. And last grade 1 that we run, this one we can switch. I know that there are no lava flows in the deck, but that's only because they are $20 each, and I don't want to have to pay $20 each for copies when they're getting reprinted. I believe in the next client collection. But anyway, next and final grade 1 that we run is Dragon Knight Nasser. So when placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can Soul Blast 1. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 grade 3 from among them, call it to a rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck after. So this helps you look a little further into the deck if you don't have enough Dragonic Overlords on the field when you're about to turnabout. So yeah, that is it for the grade 1s. And next, we run 6 crits, because crits are fun in a restanding deck, and 6 draws because we need to cycle through the deck really quickly. And yeah, 6 crit and 6 draw is really fun, just because you either get a huge hand or you're dealing huge amounts of damage, and I like that. So yeah, and of course our 4 heals to end the deck profile. Anyway, guys, that is it for this deck profile. I've really had to be patient in building this one because, one, I didn't have a lot of the parts that I needed outside of the parts that were already in the end/the cross deck. And yeah, I just as soon as I got the other 3 copies of Turnabout, I knew that I had to build this thing as soon as possible. But anyway, that is it from me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments and suggestions down below for future and current content. I have a lot of stuff that I am planning to do, and I will make an announcement on that very soon. Don't forget to tell your friends if you think that they'll enjoy what we got going on the channel. And yeah, that is it from me. I am Jelly the Casual Card Gamer. Take care.